Hey everyone, how's it going? It is the real Randy Chavez coming at you today with a VeVe OMI update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon, especially the super thanks button down below. If you've seen my last live stream, you don't really need to watch this, because if you watch it in its entirety, I'm going to go over a lot of the same things. We did have some comments, though, that I really wanted to go over, and I felt like should be in a shorter video. A guy named Michael Guzelian says, Randy, you've been adamant about Akomi's thesis and how it hasn't changed with VeVe. What about the thesis that Akomi hasn't delivered on the value proposition of OMI in the NFT crypto space? And I tried to think of another parallel, but this one's the best I got. Picture you have a guy that tells this girl that, like, hey, I love you, I want to marry you, you know, I make decent money here, and I'm going to do my very best to give you the life that you deserve. And she says, yeah, sure. And then the economy turns around, and even though the guy is working twice, you know, he loses his job, but he works twice as hard at other jobs, and he still gets stuff done, and he still, but, you know, that guy is maybe from a lower social circle. Maybe he was just you know, in the poorer area, and now he's doing his very best, and he's not used to giving this girl like what she is used to, and she's used to the finer things in life. She's from a upper middle class or upper class family, and they're not jiving anymore. She's like, you promised me, you know, a good life. He's like, well, I promised you the best life that I could give you, and you know, the economy's turned around, and that's what's happening here with Akomi. They promised to give us utility, and they gave us utility, a lot of it, and VeVe's gone on and signed on these major licenses which have been incredible. It's like, okay, well, Chavez, why is the OMI token down? It's just the overall market. Akomi is that guy that promised to give the best life that he could, and he's doing his best. And despite the downturn in the market, working overtime and going in and getting things done, including utility like OMI to Gem, including utility like MCP points, staking, all that jazz. But it's the overall market that's kind of making everything go down. Despite what VeVe and Akomi are doing, and they're doing a lot of really great things, they can't help the overall market, where most alts are still just absolutely punished. You have Flow from Dapper Labs, and they have NFL All Day and UFC Strike and NBA Top Shots, and they're doing pretty well, minus a $7 million lawsuit they had to pay last year. Again, they're doing pretty well. They still have their people there, but the token went from like 20-something dollars to like 25 cents. Illuvium, another one that they have their Illuviums, they have a bunch of stuff, they still have a community, they still have people playing their games, and they still have income. Then why did the token go from $1,900 to $10? It's the overall market. And so again, it's not exclusive to Akomi, unless you're daCat here, that happens to be up like 4.5x since April. All the other companies that have tokens that I'm invested in, like DEVVE or like Definity, they also happen to be down, and they're in many ways kind of ahead of Akomi in VeVe in certain ways. Definity does a lot more in revenue, and DEVVE is a whole ass layer 1 blockchain that's the fastest ever, with 8.5 million transactions per second. They have these crazy partnerships. They have a bunch of investors from Wall Street. Why is the token down? Again, same thing. It's just because of really a lack of an alt season, which I still think we'll get. But these are some of the things why, even though the thesis hasn't changed and they are delivering, that's why it hasn't reflected in the token price. It didn't matter that we got on Coinbase Wallet and Binance Wallet and OKX Wallet, and we even got a makeshift listing on Coinbase because of their DEX program, which is great. You don't exactly have an order book, but unless you're in New York, if you're in the other 49 states, you can put US dollars onto Coinbase. You don't even need crypto, and it takes 12 seconds to buy OMI. But even then, the price still went down. Same thing with you know, people saying, well, if we just got listings, didn't really happen. We're doing a lot of burns. Even MCP today, we burned 69 million MCP points today. Everyone comment nice down below with 69. And that's great. Like, they're able to do that while grossing $9,000. Pretty heckin' cool. Chavez, $9,000 is not a lot. It's not, but for something that I didn't even think they were going to do, that kicks the ass of most comic books that we get nowadays, which usually get 5K, 7K. The smaller key comics get like 2K, but yeah, this is something that really helps him pay for Agoro and really tightens that relationship. Another question he asked is, what has to happen with OMI's value thesis to make you think otherwise? Are Dr. Stuff and Crypto Rain still bullish? Crypto Rain is. Dr. Stuff had mentioned that he thinks that if by July of 2026 and alt season hasn't really started yet, then he'll get worried, because then it's like, okay, something is wrong here. And yeah, but I think with the rates starting to be cut now, granted they're 25 basis points, so it doesn't mean much, but quantitative tightening, that's going to stop. Okay, that's cool. These are all bullish signs. The tariff war seems to be over. Trump and China, they had that very, very sweet deal, so things seem positive. And Jerome Powell's getting out of his position in May. So by July, we should have the makings of an alt season, even if outright we don't have a full-blown blow-off top yet. The blow-off top for Bitcoin and ETH probably won't happen just because institutions are having way too much fun and making way too much money trading on the 20 and 30% swings. And they'll do that for forever. And even though they're going to go in a little bit harder on Ethereum and rebalance towards that way, they're still going to be trading Bitcoin. And all of the stuff in like the top 50 that they can hold and manipulate, they will. So you won't really see a blow-off top there. You're most likely just going to see staircase steps, +2, -1, until you reach the next bear market, whenever that is. Could be years away. And then you have altcoins. You have microcaps, stuff that are not in the top 100 or 200 that institutions don't really pay attention to. We should still have a blow-off top, and we should still have a crazy alt season where you see 50, 1,000 X's, 50 X's and 1,000 X's. But the thesis for why I would think OMI could be in trouble is if VeVe stops making money, they stop getting new users, and the active daily users falls below like 400. That would be my Mason-Dixon line. But they get hundreds of new users each month. They're still making money, sometimes in record amounts. There's $80,000 something that was grossed on the Street Fighter drop. And that was just Ryu. Well, granted, he's one of the main characters, and some of the mechanics might have been a little, okay, we're going to want to fix some of that. The secret rares sold out, and the majority of the commons sold out. And, the rares, some sold, I think like 120, 130 of them. But yeah, there was several hundred, like the majority, like at least 75% were not sold. So maybe they need to fix something here or there. But that was a great first attempt. That was a great first try. If it was golf, it'd be a nice on the green. That was great. So they'll probably tweak the numbers a little bit, and when they drop Ken Masters or Chun-Li or Cammy, I'd really hope if we could get Cammy in her Killer B mode, we could be able to get something similar, maybe even greater. So yeah, when they have great IP, when they get the drop mechanics right, it goes great. And they could do this over and over again for years. So again, I don't really see anything going on that's going to make me worried about the token. You still have some whales, there's clearly some people selling. So you have that. They're going to run out of OMI eventually. Now, maybe it's some people that are just swing trading and they bought a bunch at 0000109 and they're going to sell a bunch at 00015 and then they're going to buy back down again. So whatever. But as long as the company, again, is making money and they're still getting new users, and their active daily users doesn't fall below 400, it's fine. And with the removal of KYC in a couple of weeks, I don't see why they can't actually grow. The average daily users are between 700 and 800, and I think they could go on and probably double that in the coming months because of the lack of KYC, because of the fact that they're going to be able to take OMI for gems. I think this will be really good for it. The last question that Michael had says, finally, how are you reconciling that you're down 7 figures in this and the token continues to decline? So we do have to correct this real quick. I do have, from the top of the last bull market, I had well over $1 million in the OMI token. And that, going from the top, I'm down over 7 figures. If you go from what I put into it, figure between 600 and 700K, don't get me wrong, I'm still down well over $500,000, but I'm not down over a million. Like I didn't put a million into it. I put between 600 and 700 in. How I'm reconciling the fact with that is that I still think it's undervalued. And that's why I'm buying more. I had 130 something million when I first reached that $1 million mark in OMI, and now I have 320 million. And my goal is to get $1 billion. I don't know if I'll actually get that because now my portfolio has some rules that I kind of follow where OMI, first off, is my smallest bag. From daCat to DEVVE to DEFINITY, pretty much anything with a D. Yeah, it's bigger than my OMI holdings. And it's not because I put more into those holdings. It's just because OMI, I was kind of it's been taking the piss. And yeah, I have no problem continuing to buy because the company is still doing great things. Both the VeVe and OMI. And David and Dan still continue to rock it. And as long as they keep doing that, and as long as they're doing all the things I said before, they're still undervalued. And when it goes back to where it should be, it'll keep going. Maybe where it should be could be half a penny or even a penny, but it'll probably go well beyond that because it'll overcorrect. Like I've said before, crypto is an inaccurate weighing machine. And when it's inaccurate now, it's inaccurate way to the downside. And when it goes inaccurate later, it'll go way inaccurate to the upside. And again, this is all just my opinion. None of this is financial advice. Anything can go to zero at any moment. But also at the same time, if VeVe were to explode and David and Dan were to lose their minds and sell the company and walk away and they, dump their OMI and OMI goes to zero, well, I kind of already have the 7-figure mark back again, even without OMI and VeVe. So not going to say it doesn't matter because I'm expecting OMI to go to 2 to 4 cents, which is like a 200 plus X from here. It wouldn't really matter. And that's why, again, I have no problem buying down here because I'm very confident in the token that I think it can do that type of X, that type of multiple. But that's how I kind of reconcile that. Anywho, let's move on. I do want to end on a high note. We have Kuma, who won the charity auction a few months back, and me and Magic and the OMI homies and Tammy, we got to celebrate with him. And he minted the #1 gold and silver VeVe coin. I think that's going to be worth $5,000, give or take. There's not too many things that are #1. I remember David had like a $40,000 bounty on the Iron Man Funko Pop #1. So I honestly, and this is a gold and silver one, and there's only 169 of these, I think, right now. So I'm going to say that 5,000 might actually be a little low, and they might actually get something. He might actually get a 5-figure thing for it. I'm sorry, 177 of these have been minted. So they grossed almost 9K with that. And because they had to burn 400, there's 70 million MCP that was burned. Anyway, shout out to Kuma for getting that. I can't wait to see him in Vegas. I can't wait to see all of you in Vegas. Everyone, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I'm going to get some dinner. Love you guys. Goodbye. Meow, meow, meow. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. We love you. Ooh.